2:40 p.m. June 25th, 2025. 2:40 p.m. June 25th, 2025. I'm Wade Allen Heineman. It was indicated I'm a comedian again. I can say funny things, but everything on my x.com/WADES2ND and my YouTube is serious. It is my life. I was narrating my life just a little bit ago. I do not have conversations with people. I narrate my life in my vehicle here. And here's that camera. That's a back-facing camera. I don't use it for anything, but I suspect that someone is, using footage of it. It indicated that it's a Spanish speaker again. So if they're doing that, arrest them, please. I have no association with them. I'm not a comedian. I am tortured throughout my life. I was saying at age 10 to 18, I worked in hog confinement buildings for my father. I was severely allergic to hogs, and it caused me to be sick constantly. I worked throughout my 20s, multiple jobs most years, or many of those years in my 20s. And, it's being justified that these people break in. I'm in Old Wine Park, by the way, at 2:40 p.m. This is that plane that's mounted in the park here. There's Old Wine City Park. It's called Sour King, Sauer King Jet Plaza. It's by Lake Old Wine, is over there. And I'm parked by the basketball court. I'm not going to play basketball, but this is where I was shooting baskets last year. So whoever's claiming I'm a comedian, this is their last-ditch effort always to destroy my life as I'm being tortured with energy attacks 7 weeks in the spring and 3 out of 7 days again. And every time they hit me with energy attacks, my legs get swollen, which they're twice as big as they should be right now. And it is not due to my diet. They're trying to blame it on things that it is not. It is due to energy attacks. I've been hit with energy attacks since 2013. And by the way, I am posting 30 posts per day on my X account almost every day in 2025. So I need to emphasize that again. Those are the only ways I can combat the staged lies by the network of criminals. And a John Deere mower is indicated again. I don't, if they're indicating someone that works at John Deere, I don't know what they're indicating with that. But none of what I do is for jokes. I have PTSD. I have varying levels of PTSD. As soon as I wake up, I find out, I hear, or I get indications about staged lies about me, and I start, varying levels of PTSD from, fighting back in words like, I'll hear a verbal slight to me or a lie about me, and I'll fight back by saying something out loud, in response to radio or something. And then if a staged lie occurs during the day, I'll go right to the high level of PTSD and start yelling. I don't have any connection to anyone. It's just surveillance of my vehicles that they're using to make it seem like I have a connection to somebody. Indicated Dominican Republic. There's a guy in Old Wine that stalks me. He looks like a Dominican Republic, like skin color, skinny guy, about 6'2", I would say. And I believe he's one of the guys stealing my valuable stones. So if he was anywhere near me today, I want the guy arrested. And what I was saying when I was talking out loud today, I've been above the poverty line 3 times in my entire adult life. I'm 53 years old. That means 35 out of the years that I've been an adult, that I have been 32 out of 35 years I have been under the poverty line. That is not a lie. That is not a joke. Yes, I have been under the poverty line 32 out of 35 years. You know, people, because of surveillance and how I was portrayed throughout my life, I don't know if they portrayed me as a rich guy or what, but the only time I had a decent amount of money was when I worked in City of Dubuque, when I made $32,000 one year and $39,000 one year and $42,000 one year, $43,000 approximately. And I worked 2 jobs one of those years. I'm not sure which year it was, but and then I worked for Iowa Northland Regional Council of Governments in 2010. So 4 years I've been above the poverty line, and not much above the poverty line. I've never made more than $43,000 in my entire life from a job. I can't work a job because in 2016, 17, and 18, I tried working at a job, and they filled people around me were people staging lies, like they had some connection to me or outside of work. None of them did. Not in 2016, 17, or 18 when I worked at the trailer company and the semi-trailer building company in Manchester, Iowa. I worked in 2016, 17 for a short period of time, and then at the bridge building company in Northeast Iowa in 2018. They harassed me out of both of those jobs. The first one, they group harassed me inside the building, and there were cranes and things moving around in there. It wasn't safe to be being harassed in there, so I quit. You know, and they made it look like I was fired because I didn't get my complaint in on time, but I was not fired. I quit. And same thing in 2018. She knows I quit there. There's other people said that I was pushed out of that job too. No, I quit because they were breaking into my vehicle time and again and staging lies in my vehicle, taking my iPad. I think they switched my iPad at that time to a Chinese-made one, and then, you know, they could manipulate the iPad after that. So I can't work a normal job, which is why I became a property investor when I got some money from my uncle's death in 2024, which is a normal occurrence for someone who's 53 years old to get some inheritance from someone. And it was my Uncle Dorlin who died. I was not expecting anything from my Uncle Dorlin, but I put it to use as an investment to try and financially recover from 10 years of my life being destroyed by criminals, breaking into my home vehicle, staging lies, hitting me with energy attacks, making false claims that I had connection to people I didn't have, lies that I had connection to some child or minor that I never had. I have absolutely no communication or contact with any minor, anyone under 18 years old since 2016, and I never did anything wrong to him. His name is Evan. He is pale white skin. He's 20 years old now, but I won't say his last name, but you know, that's my ex-fiance's son. It was not my son, it was my ex-fiance's son. He is a white guy. I have no connection to any mixed race guy throughout my life, as far as they keep indicating that, you know, there's a mixed black race guy that is my son or my ex-fiance's son. No, that is a criminal fraud stalking me, who stalked me in Old Wine here a few years ago. I don't know who he is. That Evan is not anyone associated with me and never has been. So there's no justification that these people steal from me and redistribute the stones that I have, that I worked a year and 3 months for, and all they did was 5-finger discount them by breaking into my vehicle. They're in their 20s, and they're a different skin color than me, and they're justifying stealing from me. I worked child labor, age 10 to 18 on the family farm in confinement hog buildings where I was severely allergic and got sick over and over again, and my father didn't consider that. He kept putting me back in those buildings. My parents taught me nothing about life. Nothing financially they taught me. They didn't teach me anything as far as relationships. They screamed and yelled at each other. My sister committed suicide when I was 31 and she was 35. Largely because of that. We were taught nothing and we learned nothing They provided a place for us to stay. They provided meals. They provided schooling and church. But emotionally, my parents were abusive my entire childhood, emotionally abusive. And that's the way it is. That's the truth. And, you know, you have one child that commits suicide. That's a red flag for your parenting. It really is. And it doesn't mean you necessarily were a bad parent, but the chances are high that you were a terrible parent in many ways if your child commits suicide. And that's the truth. You know, they could have been into drugs and ruined their life in drugs, or they could have gotten into any kind of situation and committed suicide, and it wasn't the parents' fault. But I think, you know, they say you're judged by the fruits of your life, and the fruits of your life are your children. I was not allowed to have a relationship with my son, and that's the way it was in the 1990s, that if the mother was not participatory, it was very difficult for you to have anything with your son. And I witnessed that when I was a property manager at a low-income apartment complex in Charles City in 1993 and 94. When I lived with my girlfriend then, that was the mother of my child, ended up being the mother of my child, Tanya, who has pale white skin. She is not a black woman, which is indicated as well. I mean, I have to fight all of these lies as well, like constant, you know, throughout my life about people I had no contact or communication with, didn't even know who they were, making false claims against my life. So I have to combat that, as well as the real lies that were told about, you know, the relationships that I had. So now I'm lost again, but you know, nothing of my life is a joke. I'm not a comedian. I mean, I can say funny things, but my X account and my YouTube account, they are not for comedy at all. I do, you know, entertain myself with comedy in my vehicle, because that's one of the ways I can reduce the stress on myself, is to entertain myself. I'd rather, you know, have someone else to joke with, but I don't have that. I've been alone for 10 years. I've had no sexual partner in 10 years. And, you know, all that should be considered when I look up adult pornography. I rarely do it anymore. You know, once when I need to, I do. But, you know, men, even married men, used to get subscriptions to Playboy in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And, you know, now I'm being harshly judged for looking up sex between a man and a woman once in a while when I haven't had a sexual partner in 10 years. You know, I cannot deal with that kind of judgment on top of everything else that I have to be judged for, like the trash in the shed over there. That's on private property. It's inside a shed. It is not littering when it's inside a shed on private property. Yet I'm being judged for that while I'm being tortured. You know, they're justifying torturing me with energy attacks for the trash on the floor in the place where I park to sleep, while they break into my fucking vehicle 41 times to steal valuable stones in the year and 3 months that I've been gathering them. And that is not an exaggeration. I have counted the amount of times that they have stolen stones from inside my vehicle since March of 2024, and it is at least 41 times. That is the minimum amount of times that they've broken in. That is not a lie. That is not delusional. That is what, you know, is at the root of my PTSD, as well as the energy attacks, the staged lies, the false claims that I have connection to people I don't have, the, you know, theft of my life, people trying to steal my theories, inventions, blogs, poems, valuable stones, guitar compositions, which I just restrung my Epiphone Excellente last night. Got it out of the camper, and I posted proof that I bought this on my x.com/WADES2ND, the emails that I got for the receipt for that at Musician's Friend, it's called. It's an online music sales thing. I bought that with my own money, paid $1,400 for it. So if anybody's trying to claim that, they broke into the fucking camper while I had it stored in there between when I emptied out my F-350 and now, because I can't fit everything in this vehicle. As you can see, it's smaller than the F-350, so I can't get everything in here. There goes the Oline police. I don't want him to stalk me, so I'm gonna move. There's no reason that, you know, I'm not doing anything wrong, but I don't want anybody stopping me for causing more stress. So youtube.com/@WADEALANHEINEMN is me. It is June 25th, 2025. And my valuable stones are here. Show them right here. Epiphone Excellente, and there's my Taylor BBT, which was damaged. Still plays, but it was damaged. I don't know how long this will take to post. I'm in Oline right now, and again, it was 2:40, so it's getting close to 3 p.m. Wade Allen Heineman, 53 years old, never been in the military, never been married. Not been on a motorcycle since 1996. Don't know anybody that rides a motorcycle since 2005. Not been outside the state of Iowa in 2025 at all for any reason. And I have not been on a plane or jet since 2011. I have green eyes. I am 6'1", and I have 10.7-inch hands, as I've said over and over again on my social media since in the last 6 years. So if a person does not have 10.7-inch hands, it's not Wade Heineman. Doesn't have green eyes, it's not Wade Heineman. It's not 6'1", it's not Wade Heineman. If it's not a white guy like me, it's not Wade Heineman. I'm 53 years old. Sometimes I do not look 53 years old, but that has to do with attitude and how you take care of yourself. I've never been into drugs, and I haven't had alcohol at all since August 6th of 2022, except for 1/4 of one beer in 2024. This is the truth about my life, people. This is not some joke. I do have a sense of humor. I can be funny. Not everybody's going to think so, but I entertain myself with it sometimes. It looks like that Oline police is coming this way. So I'm gonna, maybe that's not him. Actually, it looks like a Toyota truck. Toyota's been following me around the last 2 days. I don't know why. Anyway, signing off, Wade Allen Heineman, 53 years old again. Born 11/4/71. I'm laughing because I said it already like 3 times, so that's the reason I'm laughing. I'm goofy sometimes, but I'm serious.